Welcome back to Tapping Vegas, brought to you by Better and Green. Special thank you to our friends over at DraftKings. And guys, we saw the comments. Bobby is back. We got Bobby back. He is done with the move. We're excited to have him back. I know I am freaking ready to have Bobby back for some of his insights so he can keep me on the right track. And if you guys would like to compete against us, we have a group over on Tapology, Better Green MMA. We have a link to it on our website, bettergreen.com, where you can get more MMA articles from us. But there you can compete with us head-to-head in methods and who wins, who loses, and your name can be on the bottom of this graphic. Every week it gets updated. So if you guys win this card, if you join when this video first comes out, that could be your name right on the bottom of the screen. Bobby, you ready to get into it, man?
Yeah, let's get into it.
Let's talk about it. First fight, Bobby. Take it away.
Saeed Nurmagomedov versus Bryce Mitchell. Interesting fight. Bryce Mitchell's dropping down to bantamweight for this. First thing I want to point out, I don't think that the lack of success Bryce has been having recently is due to being undersized at 145. What do I mean? Yes, he's undersized at 145. You know how you fix that problem? Proper strength and conditioning and actually putting on muscle mass over a period of time and getting stronger for the weight class instead of just lifting logs at your RV that you've been living in on your farm in the middle of nowhere. I don't know. I just have a little bit higher expectations for elite level UFC athletes, I guess. I'm speaking this way because I'm very sad about Bryce Mitchell. I've been a huge Bryce Mitchell fan ever since he was on the regional scene, since he came into the UFC on that season of The Ultimate Fighter with Stipe and Cormier. Love Bryce Mitchell, have been absolutely just destroyed by what has happened to him. And to make it short, sweet, and just to the point, these are the problems that Bryce Mitchell's having. He's undersized for 145. I just told you how he fixes that. The solution is not to drop down to bantamweight. I don't necessarily think he's going to have a crazy, weight advantage even at bantamweight. I don't see how this fixes anything. He's still undersized. He has height. I'll give him that. He's 5'10", I believe. So he's one of the taller bantamweights next to Sean O'Malley at 5'11". But when you're not primarily a striker, and this leads me to my second point, his striking's got to improve. So it doesn't matter that you're 5'10" with such a huge height advantage over the rest of the bantamweights when your striking offense and defense is one of the worst aspects of your game. It doesn't matter. It's just negated. He's got to improve that. It's the second thing he has to do. And the third thing is it just seems like I thought his confidence was better against John Silva. He seemed like he was, winning the press conference. But no, instead he fell victim to that classic thing that happens in the UFC where, he was Alex Hernandez. He won the press conference but got his ass kicked in the real fight. So what does it matter? I think Saeed's going to win. And I am very confused as to how this is so close because, other than being 5'8" compared to Bryce Mitchell's 5'10", I'm not really seeing anything else jumping off the page here, 30 versus 33, 70-inch reach for Bryce, 70-inch reach for Saeed, even though he's, shorter. I just don't understand. Some things that I noticed that lead me to think Saeed can pull this off would be that Saeed is a dynamic striker, a lot of spinning back kicks. He loves throwing the spinning back kick, loves throwing the spinning back fist. Always throws those multiple times in the fight. I see this could go like the Cody Stamann fight, where he wobbles Bryce like he did Cody and snatches a guillotine when Bryce goes for the takedown. That's exactly how he finished Cody Stamann. Wobbled Cody Stamann. Cody Stamann started panicking. He's normally a wrestler just like Bryce. He wants to grapple with you. He got in on the single, and Saeed's very good at taking that single and actually finishing you from it. He's good at keeping his balance. He's good at resisting that takedown. He finished Cody Stamann like that. He also finished – there was another guy I watched him do that too. Let's see. It was like a KO, TKO. I don't know. He's finished at least two people. The other one's name escapes me. If I find it, I'll let you know. But Cody Stamann and another guy, he finished because they both went in on singles, and he just absolutely pounded their heads in. and just finished him. And I think that's going to happen to Bryce. That's how Bryce has been finished against John Silva, the old club and sub. He got stunned, and then he got ninja choked out by John Silva, right? He got stunned by Topuria, and then Topuria choked him out. See it pretty much playing out exactly like that, because he's not making the changes he needs to make. Going to 135, doing nothing, because what does your strength and conditioning still look like? Are you still lifting logs on the ranch? Are you still chasing the chickens around? Like, you can be full-time farmer when you have enough money from your fighting career to retire and be full-time farmer. Because right now his head just still doesn't seem in it. He needs a new gym. He needs better striking offensively and defensively. He needs a better camp. He needs something to reinvigorate him, to get him back in the game. And until I see signs of life from him, besides just beating up Crone Gracie, which is his, most recent win, I can't. As much as I love the dude, as much as he's, been one of my top 10 favorite fighters since he came in, he's just lost so much momentum. And that Crone Gracie win last December is the only thing separating him from a 2-fight brutal skid right now. And it's just looking disgusting. It's absolutely looking disgusting. The Josh Emmett loss, it doesn't take just a power puncher to beat Bryce Mitchell. It can be somebody like Saeed, who's this dynamic striker who does have all these unorthodox spinning kicks and back fists that Bryce isn't going to be prepared for. But then Bryce is going to try to grapple if he's smart, because that's his path to win, right? Even though he's a Nurmagomedov, I don't necessarily know that he's related to Khabib, and his style is primarily a flashy striker, kind of like an Umar style. But if he goes in on that single, which is a common takedown that he likes, I honestly don't see it ending well for him. I actually think Saeed's just going to finish him and get a sub. There's very, very few ways I honestly see Bryce legitimately winning this. I mean, yes, there's always the chance that he returns to form and it's a 3-round fight, right? And he just, mollywops the dude, just lays on him, just gets the control time, all that. I'm just not confident enough with it, especially when DraftKings is giving me a decent enough odd on this for a guy who, is really close to a pretty violent 3-fight skid where he's been finished. When you're giving me Bryce at a -142 and Saeed at a +120, that's just too good to me to pass up personally. I don't know if I'm going to necessarily choose a method. Maybe I'll come back to it. But, I mean, at this point, I'm happy just to get Saeed at plus money. How do you see it?
I think you covered most of the big points, so I'm just going to take it from the Vegas side of things. Bobby, this fight, Mitchell was at +100 and Nurmagomedov was at -130 last night. And so there's been a lot of money coming in on Mitchell. Actually, in fact, it's 10% of sharp money coming in on Mitchell, but that has flipped these odds. And this fight and the next fight we're going to talk about, this has happened where the underdog becomes the favorite. So I think what was happening was a lot of people were seeing that they could get Mitchell at that nice plus money, which, once again, Bryce Mitchell's a tough guy, which is what you've been saying too. You're going with Saeed, but Bryce Mitchell, he's a talented fighter. People are seeing him at that money, so they're betting him up, which is making the sports books move. People see that. They see the sharp money. They see that there's only 38% of people on Bryce Mitchell, so everybody's hopping on that side. Say, 48% at -142 for Bryce. That's going to be the good side for Vegas, where in reality, the Saeed Nurmagomedov, 62% of bets, 52% of the money. It's about split, and it's 52% at +120. Vegas can afford that hit. They can afford that hit just fine. So this money it's kind of screaming to me that this is where if you only bet, you get on Saturday before the fights and you're just looking at these betting splits, that's what you're seeing. And it seems like it's such a clear pick for Bryce Mitchell, but you didn't track the line movement and you don't know what happened in this fight, why people were all pouring in on Mitchell. So I'm with you. I think Saeed is going to be the side here. I think there's going to be a lot of opportunities for Vegas to make money. I think right here is one of the ones that, and once again, 52%, we're just about 50. It wouldn't surprise me if by the time we get to this fight, Bryce has the majority of the money. Yeah, they're not even having to pay out 50.
That to happen. I'd love for that to happen.
Yeah, Absolutely. So I'm with you. Let's talk about the second fight, man. This is one I'm very excited for. Asu Amabayev versus Jose Ochoa. So there's a couple things about this fight, Bobby. So Asu already had a fight scheduled, and it got canceled, and Jose got put in just 16 days ago. This is a very short notice fight for him. Jose Ochoa, I believe Peruvian fighter, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep. Peruvian.
Yep. So we're talking South America versus Asu, Kazakhstan. And we got to remember where this fight is, Abu Dhabi. So Ochoa is on short notice coming in against not only the time zone difference, but we can say it, right? The Abu Dhabi judges, they're going to give a little bit of a wink and a nod to the Dagestanis, to maybe the Kazakhstanis, to some of our mountain buddies out there. So if this does go to a decision, I don't love that for Ochoa. Asu was the favorite, and then money started coming in on Ochoa. Everybody seeing all these knockouts, all these really nice highlights of him. So they started pouring money. People start betting Asu, and I think that this scenario, I want to be on the Asu side. 65% of bets, 48% of the money. So we're actually on the underside of that at minus 122. Vegas is going to have no problem paying that out, even though Asu is the public side. Ochoa also very reckless. He is all offense, no defense. He just comes in, he swings wild. He does not sprawl. He has this really nasty... He kind of hips in, but he doesn't. It's more like he bends a lot at the back, and he's not really throwing his hips into the ground. Because when guys were shooting on him, I forget whatever minor league fighting that he was in, but the guy, he just like bent him like a banana. Instead of like flattening the guy or even like really throwing the guy off the base, it put the guy into like a prison stance, so the guy didn't get the takedown. But also, this is also Asu Amabayev. Like, this is a UFC fighter, a guy who's had some fights in the UFC. If all he has to do is just drop his hips and re-engage, and then you're picking this dude up off the mat. So the defense really concerns me about Ochoa. The short time frame, Asu Amabayev, already a guy that has a very large gas tank. He's familiar with that side. The time zone's not going to be a problem for him. He's been training. This just seems like there's too much adding up, and now you can get Amabayev at minus 122. Yeah, he was minus 110 versus Ochoa at minus 120 yesterday. So he's already moving. The odds are shifting more towards him, but I would have said get in on him earlier if you could have, but when you're watching this, there's still time, especially that minus 120. I would play Asu up to minus 160, in my opinion. What do you think, Bobby? Just money line.
Yeah, I agree. The main thing I was noticing in the tape was that with all the kicks that Ochoa likes on the regional scene, as you were mentioning, I've noticed a few guys were able to catch his kicks and like leverage those into takedown attempts. And so that would be a great opportunity for Asu to be able to do that himself, right? Take some of those kicks, catch them, turn them into single leg attempts.
Absolutely.
Maybe run the pipe, maybe even do a double leg attempt, like pretty much however he wants to go with it. So, I mean, when you got Asu sub at plus 700 and you can even get Asu decision at plus 150, is any of that tantalizing enough?
Asu just scares me enough that like I think I still view him as more of like a decisionator at his core. So I don't know if I'd be brave enough to take him at the sub. But if you had to go with a method, I think the decision is the way to go there. But like I said, I'm just being a wimp and take a money line just in case he does have that sub in him. Which I think, if he does get this to the ground, and he goes for it, I think he's much better than Ochoa in that category.
Right. I'll go Asu decision then.
Okay.
Since it's plus 150. So.
Yeah. No, I like it. I think that's the way this fight goes. So I like that, Bobby. Why don't you take the third fight away, man?
Yeah, third fight we have is going to be we got Shara Magomed Sharipov versus Marc-Andre Barriot. Not really much to say about this fight. This is definitely a layup for Shara. It's definitely an attempt to get him back in the good graces of the MMA community after his little adventure against MVP.
Mm-hmm.
Michael Venom Page, went sideways
Mm-hmm.
by decision back in February. His first loss in his MMA career as a pro, unfortunately. So what better way to build his confidence back up and get him back in the win column than against a plodding, you know, heavy striker with no power, right? Like, God, how terrible must that be to be this giant, brick shit house of a MMA fighter, but you have absolutely no power, and in fact, you're the one that ends up getting knocked out. Like, what a
Yeah.
sad, just sad, man. I can't talk too much crap, but that's just very sad because in his last four fights, Mark Andre Barrios has been KO'd by Dustin Stoltzfus, not a guy who KOs people. Joe Pyfer is a guy that KOs people, so
Yeah.
it's no shame in getting KO'd by Joe Pyfer. But Dustin
No.
Stoltzfus KOing, a little bit rough, losing the split decision to Chris Curtis, no shame there. Chris Curtis is always capable of beating you to within a split decision of your life. So, no shame there. And then when you beat Eric Anders, it's not really saying much. When you beat Julian oh, what's her nuts, Miley Cyrus Marquez, there's not much to talk about there. So
No.
this fight really is nothing. I'm just going to
Mm.
keep it nice and simple. Char Magomed Sharapov is going to have his way with Mark Andre Barrios in the striking. This is not ever going to be a grappling fight. These two will be lucky if they even clinch each other. They're going to leave room for Jesus like an eighth grade dance, and they're just going to Char is going to pick Mark Andre Barrios apart. He's going to make him look stupid. He's going to impress all of his Saudi, Emirati, oil tycoon friends, and they're probably going to let him get out on the boat later after he cruises to a, unanimous decision or a KO, TKO here. The odds definitely reflect this. Do not get crazy just because of how crazy the odds are. This is a layup. This is a confidence booster for Shara. This is an opportunity to get Mark Andre Barrios potentially out of the UFC. Nice little cut bait. Hey, dude, you've been violently finished. You only have one win in like your last five. Sucks it's your last fight, but get the hell out of here so you in bare knuckle. Because, you're getting Shara money at minus 625, Mark Andre Barrios plus 455. Yeah, don't get pulled in by that. I'm not saying this to be disrespectful of Mark Andre Barrios. This is just how I see it going. If I'm wrong, I will lay off of your mom this weekend. I promise I won't go so hard on her. You have my word. I will eat my words if Marc Andre can pull it off. I just don't see it happening. I have to be realistic. I feel for the guy. It's never fun when somebody loses their job, but you're not getting Magomed at KO TKO at anything. That's what people think is going to happen. It's minus 135, sub plus 2,000, not happening. Decision doesn't even do anything, so whatever. Who cares? This is like a throwaway pick. I'm just taking money line. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. I agree with just about everything that you said. Magomedov, dude, Shara, he was minus 500 yesterday. Money just keeps pouring in on minus 625. Now that line just keeps moving higher and higher and higher. I wouldn't doubt if we got to 800 by the time we got to this fight. Everybody sees it the same way too. 90% of the bets, 87% of the money. 3% sharply. People just trying to get lucky there. Don't see it happening. Dude's name is basically Moab, like the mother of all bombs, but dude throws pillows instead of bombs. So unfortunately, yeah, I don't see Barrio having much luck at all here. I will go to Shara KO with the minus 135 because the minus 500, you're getting 20 cents on the dollar. So I'll just do that. But maybe this goes to decision because he was it Petrosian that was looking a little scary there for a bit, thinking it might go to a decision, but then he gets the knockout, the spinning double back fist. So I'll go Shara by knockout, thinking that once again this is just a layup for these Saudi dudes. This Abu Dhabi card, we were talking about it earlier. These judges and these Russian fighters and stuff. This is they picked Dustin Poirier in LA. They didn't give him an easy fight, but they're oh, we're gonna give the fans what they want. Those guys over there want to see their Russian guys win. That's what they're there for. So their Russian guy's going to win this fight, and there's not much MAB can do about it.
Then you know what? If you're taking KO, then I'll take the plus 200 for decision because it ain't going to sub, so that we cover all bases.
Yeah, no, I like that. I think that's actually really smart to do right there. Yeah. Hedge it just in case.
Yep.
All right, let's talk about this fourth fight, man. Peter Yan, that's our Russian for this fight, versus Marcus McGee. Very different type of fighters here. Peter Yan, more of a death by 1,000 cuts. Marcus McGee, he's got that one-punch knockout power. Very strong, very fun fighter. A guy that me and Bobby have really enjoyed breaking down here. I was surprised. Bobby, did you know that Peter Yan is younger than Marcus McGee?
Yeah, Marcus McGee's a little bit older for a bantamweight, prospect.
Yeah, 35. That I don't know why. That caught me off guard. 81% of the bets are on Peter Yan, 69% of the money. He's at minus 380. So this one's barely moved. He was minus 370 yesterday. This one's only moved 10 points. I like Yan here. I don't know if I want to do. I think I'd probably just do Yan. I think I'd do Yan money line. I'm going to say Yan money line for right now, just because I think he has a lot better striking. All right, like I said, he doesn't have the power, but he's got better striking. That's going to play better for the scorecards. Marcus McGee, he's going to have to catch Peter Yan. Yan, also just one of the best guys in the division right now. I know he's older, but he's one of those guys that's always right there in title contention, and beating McGee is going to go a long way because Merab's running out of guys, man. He's going to have to start going through guys again. Umar again, Yan again. So I'm going to go Peter Yan here. Interested to see what you have to think if you have a decision or like a method, or maybe you're going for McGee and you're entirely different.
This makes it a little bit more difficult because it's a 3-round fight. I was coming into this fight with my research trying to figure out, is Peter Yan, because he's kind of notorious for being a slow starter, right? Like he takes – kind of the first round off, and then the second and third, he has his reads made, and that's when he kind of, gets the finish and everything. But, I mean, he's done pretty well in 3-round fights before. Song Yadong, that 3-round fight, won that even after some gruesome knee injuries he incurred during the course of that fight. 3-round fight with Sean O'Malley, razor-close split decision there. A lot of people argued that he won. Obviously lost the 5-rounder to Merab. The second rematch with Aljo, lost the 5-rounder split decision, 5-rounder with Corey. So what I'm getting at is, like, he's had some 5-round fights that he's lost, but he's done surprisingly well in 3-round fights. I thought that would be, like, his biggest weakness was 3-rounders. It'd be a little bit more controversial, but, I mean, starting off early in his career in the UFC with 3-rounders, he was still able to, like, KO Uriah Faber, Jimmy Rivera decision comfortably over him and Dodson and Douglas Silva de Andrade. So, I mean, I am concerned with this being a 3-round fight that McGee can do just enough to edge in particular, because just like you thought it was surprising that McGee is, a little bit older than Yan, talking about the power, as you mentioned, this was surprising to me. So I was watching the Jonathan Martinez fight as their free fight for my tape study against Marcus McGee. After that first round, the amount of volume just in one round that Marcus McGee threw was insane, because he landed 35 of 95 strikes. 95 strikes in one round, but only at a 37% connection rate. So that is like garbage volume central in that Martinez fight. It was kind of hard to watch, honestly. It was not the best fight for them to pick for Marcus McGee as a free fight to promo this. McGee starts off southpaw, showing a lot of kicks in that fight. He traditionally does calf kick, body kick, keeps you guessing, then he'll go up high with the high kick. Something in that fight that also concerned me is he started to lose distance control and get really pressured in the second. I think that plays right into Peter Yan because, if he does enough with that volume, right, if he tries that similar approach that he did against Martinez against Yan, it's fine if Yan loses that first round since he's a slow starter, as long as he makes those reads, because that's where he struggled with Aldo, right? Aldo was kind of confusing him with the calf kicks, kind of confusing him with the angles and the feints he was showing. But after that, he kind of figured out that Aldo was leaving the body open and started going to work on the body, which is another thing I like about Jan is he mixes up the targets with his boxing. He doesn't just headhunt. Body kick, body punch, head kick. And I think he's gotten really good at checking calf kicks and throwing calf kicks of his own. We saw some of that in the Davison-Figueiredo fight, which is his most recent fight. So it's always good to see him be able to deal with a problem, late in his career and adapt to it and everything. I think Jan can intercept the spinning back kick that Marcus McGee loves throwing, kind of similar to what we were talking about with Asu.
He does that.
I think Jan can take that spinning back kick and trip him off that. That is like a signature Peter Yan move is catch a kick, use a little judo trip, takedown, control time. Definitely see that happening. I mean, if Rafael Montini can do it at ringside unified fighting in somebody's garage basement, I think Peter Yan can do it, right? Not trying to do MMA math, but if Montini almost intercepted that and had some success, Peter Yan can. He's very cerebral, great striking. Southpaw, but he will switch stances himself. He's a little bit of a switch hitter. He's patient in the grappling. Worst case scenario, let's say Marcus McGee tries to take him down. He got taken down by Figgy a few times, didn't panic. Got 2-on-1 wrist control of Figgy's arm, spun around, reversed, end up on top of Figgy. He could do the same to Marcus McGee. That's my only X factor is the grappling, but I still think Peter Yan would be fine there. I just think Peter Yan has only lost to the absolute elite of the division. Yeah. Could Marcus McGee be the elite? I mean, I think the guy has a high ceiling. Like you mentioned, we've been high on him. We've covered him. We like him. I just think this is kind of where Peter Yan is like the elite gatekeeper. He kind of closes, shut the gate, and this is kind of, unfortunately, Marcus McGee's, top 5. He'll probably hang out around the bantamweight top 5. But Peter Yan's just going to be too much. There's too much about Marcus McGee's game that just plays into Peter Yan's game. It's a lot easier for Peter Yan just to do his thing than it is for Marcus McGee to try to come up with some grand strategy to negate everything that Peter Yan already automatically does while adding new elements to his game.
Right.
That's pretty much how I see it playing out. 3 rounds. I'm hesitant to say that Peter Yan can get the KO, TKO over 3 rounds. If there's a 5-rounder, that'd be more enticing. Decision, you're only getting minus 185, sub at plus 1100. I don't think anybody's getting a sub. No. I think they're both going to want to keep it standing, but especially Yan. He'll just work back to his feet like he did in the Fig fight. So, for now, I'm just going to take Yan money line as well.
It sucks, but even the Yan decision is what I think happens. It's almost 2-1. Like, it's impossible to make money on some of these fights, but we're giving you guys leans on the fights that are actually interesting, that people are going to want to tune in and listen to. So, Bobby, take away the main fight, man. Last time we saw Bobby Knuckles, he was chewing sideways.
Yeah, we got Robert Whittaker versus Reinier de Ridder. I want to start this off by saying, have you ever seen Reinier de Ridder and DDP in the same room?
No.
I haven't. So, what I'm getting at with this, very similar guys. One's Dutch, one's South African. You know who settled South Africa? The white Dutch Afrikaners settled South Africa. Both tall, goofy, really built dudes for the weight class. Wacky, flailing, inflatable tube bend with their striking, unconventional. That's what Robert Whittaker, a textbook that he struggles with, right? Who has Robert Whittaker lost to? Yo Romero, a brick shit house that just keeps coming at you, pressuring the ever-loving hell out of you like the Terminator, intent upon eradicating you from humanity. DDP is like that, just a goofy version, kind of like the little kind of like zesty, like little just flamboyant version of the Terminator, trying to give you fashion tips instead of erase your existence. Same with Reinier de Ridder, a goofy term. Who else has Robert Whittaker lost to? Another fruitcake by the name of Israel Adesanya. But in all seriousness, that was a little bit different because that wasn't pressure. That was one of the rare times that Robert Whittaker was the one doing the pressuring, and it didn't work out well for him because he got countered, right? So Hamzat Chimaev, a grappler, very elite grappler, but he lost there. So you're kind of seeing, with the exception of Israel Adesanya, though, between Yoel Romero, DDP, and Hamzat, how there's kind of a common archetype, there, that is just going to give Robert Whittaker trouble, right? It almost seems like Robert Whittaker does better with conventional guys, even if they're at the elite level of their division and like striking or whatever. He almost does better against like the Darren Tills of the world that are just so predictable, but like
Right.
still really good at this, and like beating them at their own game, right? Like going toe to toe with them in like MMA striking chess match, even against these elite level guys. Because for all of Darren Till's woes, the dude was, if nothing else, a pretty talented striker before he fell off the cliff. I mean, it just didn't work out. So what I'm getting at with it is this. DDP is just as wild and unpredictable as De Ridder. De Ridder is a judo black belt since he was a kid, a BJJ black belt, and for all this talk of Robert Whittaker's, Commonwealth Games wrestling, we haven't seen it offensively, and when we've seen it defensively, he's been choked out. He's been choked out by Hamzat. He almost got – DDP had the option to either choke him out after just passing his guard like it was nothing or finishing him, and he opted to finish him with punches. And then from there, it's like when Yoel Romero, took him to war twice, Yoel never used his wrestling. It was just pure power and punching and pressure. De Ridder already said he's going to pressure. That's a great game plan for him against Whittaker since he's bigger, he's longer, just a brick shit house for the division. Also, another thing is that grappling is just going – the grappling and the unorthodox nature – it would be better for him to just be a predictable guy if Robert had a chance. I know we love Robert Whittaker. I know he's a legend. It never ends well, right? Max Holloway should be retiring soon. We've already seen him get cracked by Topuria, and even though he just beat Dustin, Dustin's gone. Justin needs to be gone. All these people over the years who've retired, the Tony Ferguson arc, Michael Chandler's another guy that needs to be retiring. All the people who will still retire in the future, because we got a lot of guys that still need to retire. John Jones, is he or not? Doesn't matter how good you were. It's just like football. The game comes at you fast. 1 minute you're on top of the world. And, you just beat Robert Whittaker's most recent fight was that loss to Hamzat, but before that, the Ikram Aliskerov and the Paulo Costa, right? 1 minute you're on top of the world, the next you're getting your jaw broken from a sub, and I just don't think Robert's got much more left. He's only 34, but that's a lot of mileage. He's not really showing anything new in his game. And Reinier de Ridder basically was like kind of coasting, man. He was so good in one that by the time he finally lost the belt, the dude got like depressed and was like taking 2 years off before he fought the same dude that he just lost to for the belt and lost again. And he was like, "Oh, I'm done." And it's like, dude, why are you done? Like this is your first moment of adversity and you're done, and you're only 34 too. It was just kind of funny because he's only ever lost to one guy and he lost twice, but it like ruined his world, even though he came into the UFC and now he's on a 4-fight finishing streak. And I know Gerald Meerschaert's not exactly a world beater, and he looked bad in that fight, but every fight since then, he's looked amazing. Against Kevin Holland, he looked amazing. Against Bo Nickel, he looked amazing. I think in the clinch, if Robert Whittaker tries to get the clinch, he's going to do to him what he did to Bo Nickel and just knee the ever-loving hell out of him and make his life miserable. He's not going to find any respite there. I just like De Ridder in this fight. The only thing that could go sideways is the striking. Obviously, Rob is the better striker, but so many people are just letting that get to him because guess who was supposed to be the better striker? He was supposed to be better than Hamzat in the striking. He was supposed to be better than DDP in the striking.
Oh, yeah.
He was supposed to be better than DDP in the grappling. Now we have a guy who's better than him in the grappling with the accolades, with the belts. We know he is. The striking's the biggest concern, but I just think he's going to be too smart. He's going to be too evasive. Rob's not going to be able to rely on his karate boxing ways because that's how Rob wins fights. Let's be honest here. Rob's not knocking guys out except for Aliskerov. That was like his first knockout in a very long time. Let's see, because he's just not doing it. That was his first knockout since 2017. Let's just be
Oh,
real here. That's not Robert Whittaker to be a knockout
ooh.
artist. He gets his wins off being a karate boxer, that in and out Stephen Thompson, old school McGregor style, except McGregor had the power to back it up. If De Ridder sticks to that pressure that he's playing on, crowds him out, prevents him from using that movement, gets him up against the fence, clinches, works the body, goes for the takedown attempts. If he goes for the takedowns that he was going against Nickel, he couldn't get him against Nickel because obviously Nickel's accolades. He's going to get him against Rob. There's a world of difference between the criteria that Nickel had and the credentials and qualifications and being a finger quotations Olympic Commonwealth wrestler. He's going to get him. He's going to do whatever he wants. The only way Rob can win this is if he's just absolutely stupid and he just lets Rob just pick him apart at distance. It's a 5-round fight. Gas tank is a little bit concerning for De Ridder, in my personal opinion. That's the only other thing that's a little bit concerning. But I mean, championship fights, being a champion in one, still has the potential to go 5 rounds. He's only ever been to round 5, once in his career and won in 2021. So that is a little bit concerning. But I mean, when you're finishing people, what does it matter? So it's not enough to scare me off. Like I said, don't get me wrong. I love Robert Whittaker. He's a legend and all that fun stuff, but I got to call it like it is. I just don't think this ends well for him. I think retirement's near. Retirement should be near. I think De Ridder's the real deal. I think people are doing too much MMA math and thinking that just because Whittaker has such a huge striking edge that it's just laughable that De Ridder can win. But you're getting De Ridder at plus 140 money line, minus 166 for Rob. It's just too tantalizing to pass up. De Ridder subs at plus 300. De Ridder KO TKOs at plus 550. Hell, I might even be a double method on KO TKO plus sub in case he, gets like back mount and decides to finish like DDP did with punches. I don't know. What are your thoughts?
I absolutely love everything that you had. There's a couple things I wanted to hit on real quick. Guys, once again, Bobby just moved, so he hasn't probably had the time to listen to some of the stuff, Bobby. And I'm telling you, I've listened to a couple sound bites from like press conferences and stuff this week that really kind of put this fight into my mind of like what the betting's going to be thinking and what the fighters are thinking. So Whittaker had a little sound bite about how he's seeing all these other guys that are coming in and like reclaiming their belts. And right now he's seeing all these dudes living their dreams, and he thinks that he can go out there. He's like, this is my last push, man. I'm going to make a push for the belt again. I think I can get there, and I can retire back on top. And it's like, man, did we just see Dustin Poirier last weekend get 4-1'd? Like, that
Right.
doesn't happen to most people. And once again, Dustin Poirier is not most people. Dustin Poirier, if you guys watch the broadcast, is like one of the top guys of all time, if you're looking at accolades. So Dustin Poirier didn't get it done. Robert Whittaker, it's easier said than done, man. And Ridder, what really impressed me was, first off, I like that you hit on the Bo Nickel thing. Like, everybody's shitting on Bo Nickel. Like, he's just like some terrible dude. And I'm just like, anybody tweeting that, get in the cage with him if you think he's so bad. Like, this
Right.
dude is one of the best wrestlers that the UFC has ever had. Like, this just blows my mind, some of the stuff people say after that Bo Nickel fight. That just shows how good Ridder was. And I've been pounding the Ridder drum for a long time. You have too. And he was talking about why he was off for so long. Bobby, he told people, he straight up said in the mic, he said, if I was like an amateur fighter, I would not sign with one. He's like, they don't have fights for you. You just sit around waiting, and they're like, oh, we'll get something lined up. And just nothing comes up. He's like, they don't have enough fighters. You're just going to sign to this organization and be stuck. And I was just like, damn, to come out and talk out and tell people not to join an organization, that's wild to me. And then he was also talking about, they're asking him kind of about Bo, like, hey, his wrestling's so good. How do you game plan for that? And this is something that Bo said before that really worried me, and Ridder had like the opposite answer. So back when we saw Bo Nickel fight Paul Craig, he was like, I just wanted to like stay standing up. I didn't want to rely on my wrestling to go out there and strike. and not engage with that. And it's like, dude, that's your best attribute, man. Why are you going out there not using your very best trait to try to beat this guy? It just like, it blew my mind. Everybody was booing the fight, and he's like, I'm pretty proud of that fight. I'm happy with that fight. Paul Craig's a good fighter. I'm not bashing Paul Craig at all, but Bo, that was like the type of combat athlete that you are. You're better than that. And if they asked Reinier de Ridder, like, all right, you know, you were worried about Bo? He's like, dude, I don't game plan for other people. I take what I do best and I maximize it. I'm going to go in. I'm going to win the way that I know how to win. He's not going in there, and he's not going to go in there and try to outbox Bobby Knuckles. He's going to go in there looking to try to get the sub because he knows that's his game. He is very high level BJJ artist. He's very good. I think he's going to get the sub against Bobby Whittaker. Sub, like you said, minus or plus 300, which is kind of surprising. Reinier de Ridder is still the underdog. It is moving 10 cents so far, minus 150 yesterday, or sorry, plus 150 yesterday, plus 140 today. 66% of the bets, 71% of the money. So the line is moving accordingly. People like de Ridder, and I do too. It's hard. Like the plus 180, the KO submission, plus 180. So you're getting 110 more on just the sub. Yeah, I don't think that's enough. I think I'm rolling with you, Bobby. I think the KO sub is the way to go there, just in case, like you said, he back mounts him and just ends up beating him to a pulp. And I love Bobby. This is, once again, I did Ridder and Bo Nickel. That one was very hard to break down because I like both of them. This one too, Ridder, Whittaker. We did it just last week. Holloway, Poirier. Like we like these guys. Most of the time when we're talking, we're not trying to put the other guy down. There's some people, Chidi and Jaquani, that that we aren't as high on. We might say a thing or two that might be out of color, but love both these guys. But I agree with you, Bobby. I think it's going to be Reinier de Ridder, and I'm kind of surprised that there's not more money on Whittaker because of the name, but I'm also thinking we might see a shift come Saturday. There's just not enough people that are public, that don't really follow it, that are betting UFC on a Thursday night, you know?
Yeah, I think a lot of people might start coming over to de Ridder the more they think about it. I've seen that on social media a lot. So definitely jump on this while we're telling you about it before everybody else finally kind of wakes up. Wake up, sheeple.
Wake up, sheeple. Bobby, you know, every card we give you guys somebody that gives you big plus odds to get you guys the biggest payout. Once again, we get all of our odds over on DraftKings. And right now, if you use promo code BetterGreen, you guys get, I believe, with just $5, you get $300 in bonus bets. It's very easy to see whatever promo they're running. It's always in the link in the description of every video and on our website, bettergreen.com. Bobby, what is the big plus odd play that you're eyeballing today?
Yeah, we've been killing it the past few months with these. So, man, we've just been on a roll with UFC, just haymakers and just big plays in general, just crazy units that we've been up, like wild. Last card was like the first non-winning card in like 2 months. So last card wasn't that great, but hey, we're open and honest. It
had to be sometime in May. I can't remember, but I just know we're almost through with July. Didn't have any in June, so it's been a long time, man.
Yeah. So hey, we're killing it. I think I'm torn between a Saeed or a Peter Yan one. I was thinking about Peter Yan KO. I just don't like that as much over the course of 3 rounds. If it was 5 round, that'd be a lot more appealing. I'm really liking Saeed. What would it be for a double? Because you're getting Saeed at sub plus 350, Saeed KO TKO at plus 650. If I double that, if I do a KO
basically
sub,
side by finish, would be plus 225.
That's not as crazy, but my problem is I don't think it goes to decision, because if it goes to decision, Bryce is winning.
Oh, so, I don't know. Nurmagomedov in Abu Dhabi?
Well, that's true. Yeah, he does have home court advantage.
Mm-hmm.
Does have home court advantage, but I really think he can finish
I was going to say the N-word guy, but not that N-word, the other N-word, the German N-word.
Yeah.
They don't want that guy winning.
I really think he can get the finish, man. I just think he
Okay.
can get the finish, dude. That's how much I don't have confidence in Bryce.
Oof.
Uh,
Oh.
Man, you know what? I'll just go Saeed KO TKO at plus 650 because
Okay.
he either keeps it standing and easily gets it done standing, or it's like the takedown attempt off the single leg and he just pounds his brains in. So I think that could happen more so than like maybe the sub.
I
So
don't
I'll
hate
just
that.
go Saeed KO TKO plus 650.
I don't remember ever seeing Bryce Mitchell knocked out before, though.
I mean, he might as well have been. I was gonna say, that's true. He wasn't knocked out that one time. The one time that man was legally dead. That man was
That was
legally
bad,
dead.
dude.
You know what? That's what happened,
I
actually. I
feel
don't know
bad.
why I didn't think of that. The reason why Bryce has never been the same after that fight was because after that, that's like when Gucci Mane went to prison and they got the body double. It's a Bryce body double. It's not the same Bryce Mitchell. That's what I'm going to tell myself. It's like the Gucci Mane body double.
Bobby, these episodes aren't the same without you, man. I'm so happy that you're back. We're going to be rocking and rolling again. We got more UFC fights coming up. So please, guys, join us over on Tapology, Better Green MMA. Get my name out of the previous card winner spot. I'm tired of being there. Somebody come in, take the crown from me, and we'll see you guys the next episode. Oh, also like and subscribe if you guys haven't already. Me and Bobby do every single card. Peace, guys.
Yep, peace.